Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wrestleview Post Raw, number 132. I'm Mike Tedesco.
And I'm Victoria Tedesco.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the show. It's been a while since we've been on.
About 2 weeks, with our anniversary. And then we were still celebrating our anniversary last week. I know there was a little confusion. There were some people who thought we were still having a show last week, but honestly,
we're still down the shore.
Yeah, we're still down the shore, and there was no way. Like Mike did mention at one point, he was like, "Oh, maybe we can do one," but the internet it's not like it's just not great down there. So we were like, meh, better off.
It was better off that way. And there, I switched it. There you go. So I can look at you now like that.
Like, hey.
And it works out well. Okay, let's say hello to everybody in the chat room. We've missed everybody.
Yeah,
we sure have. So we have Louis Sweet Lou Veraldi in the chat room tonight. We got King of Hueco Mundo in the chat room. All right, Daniel Shield.
Hello,
132, our buddy. Nafis Sadat. It's good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Quentin Walters, our buddy, our number one fan. Always here. We have somebody else in there. Well, if I didn't call your name, say hello. Oh, Victoria. Oh yeah, Daniel Shell's going to be riding me about Damian Priest tonight.
Oh gosh, here we go.
Well, I don't know if it's like, okay, so like when I was setting up the show, I was kind of looking at the chat room. Mishoon Walls, hello Mishoon. I was looking at the chat a little bit, and I saw like this show's terrible. I can't, like, I'd be so pissed if I paid money for this show. Like people just weren't. They weren't into it. They weren't into the show.
They were not into it for sure.
And for once, I actually liked the show, and now everybody doesn't like it.
Well, that's what 2 weeks vacation does to you.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like one of those like absence makes the heart grow fonder type things.
I don't know. I don't know if it necessarily like it. Let's just put it this way.
I other than like I think I watched the main event of the Raw 2 weeks ago, and I just refused.
I'm throwing it out there
to watch any wrestling.
If I didn't do the show with all of you, I wouldn't watch the show. I just wouldn't.
I didn't even think about it.
I really wouldn't. Like it's not on my somebody asked
me. I followed the recap. Roy did a great job recapping the show in
place. Yes, of course. You, absolutely. Thank you, Roy, for letting us have our vacation.
And thank you, Roy, for letting me come back and recap SmackDown to get my
to get the like wrestling juices going. Exactly. You know, it was funny. My sister asked me yesterday, she was like, "Oh, what are you doing tomorrow?" Because I guess she had like the night off. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I'm not doing anything. I'm thinking like, I'm not like, I don't think I'm busy. And then I remembered, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I have Raw. Never mind. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, it really isn't like, I don't think about it. I love doing the show, and that's why I do it. But otherwise it's not on my radar. But I will say this, having like, it's almost like a cleanse. Like if you take a good like vacation from it, and there's a lot of people who've taken our advice too. They don't even watch the show. They just listen to the podcast. That's good. You know, at least you're able to kind of catch up, and we'll go through the torture for you. But it puts things into a little bit of perspective. You're like, okay, you know, it's a break, come back into it. So if things aren't perfect, and they're never going to be perfect in my opinion, but at least you're able to like, okay, it's a new beginning here.
yeah, it's definitely something. It's definitely something. We got Michael Jewell in the chat room. We say hello to Michael Jewell, and we got Goosey. I'm just here so I won't get fined. Are you threatening Goosey, honey?
Am I threatening?
Was that what happened?
No, wait. I'm very confused. Where did he say this?
He said, well, that's what he said. He goes, I'm just here so I won't get fined.
Oh. Katy Perry said that at the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
She did. Yeah, because they were asking her questions before she performed at the Super Bowl, and she goes, I'm just here so I don't get fined. So
yeah. So let's talk about Raw, because, well, I don't know if we should talk about Raw or just talk about all the craziness that's going on in WWE, because that's that stuff kind of plays into Raw.
Let's start off with that, and then we'll talk about Raw.
Okay. So, well, the big news that's been going on No amount of enema can cleanse me off of wrestling. Well, the big news that's been going on in professional wrestling is the Hatchet Man Nick Khan is at it again. They're taking NXT, which for a long time was the highlight of the
product. Yeah,
absolutely the highlight. One of the key reasons. I mean, like yes, everybody gets the WWE Network in order to get the pay-per-views.
Sure,
but one of the best reasons to keep WWE Network, if you really are into wrestling, were those NXT Takeover shows
for sure.
You could watch when they were taping like all the shows in a 1 month worth of shows in one night.
Yes,
like those shows were good, but they were like meh.
Right.
But the storylines are always solid.
Yes,
and the people that they were bringing in were solid. Like there are people that most likely wouldn't thrive on the main roster. And obviously you look at the people that they have brought up and they don't thrive on the main roster. So that goes to show you something. Yes, did it get away from being a developmental a little bit? Yeah. But it was the hidden gem. One of the crown jewels of WWE was the NXT shows.
Right.
And then they stupidly use that as like a pawn to try to screw AEW out of views, on the Wednesday night. Like it went from being their hottest commodity to like a joke, and they lost their way. They were hot shotting everything.
Yep.
Like storylines and matches, like they were trying so hard to get people to watch, and it got away from like what made it so good in the first place. And that's no fault of Paul Levesque or Shawn Michaels or anybody on the NXT roster. They got outclassed by AEW because AEW is the new thing and it's the better show. And they shouldn't have been used in that position to begin with. It's like they took all this hard work that these people spent years building this thing. I mean, NXT was like a total nothing thing.
It was a joke.
Like if you remember, we went to that SmackDown taping in 2012. They had an NXT taping, before it was actually NXT.
Yes.
And it was just like a joke. It was just like, why did they even bother?
I remember when, not to cut you off, but it goes along with what you're saying. I remember when they were doing like the NXT like Diva search, right? The commentators were laughing. Like they were completely laughing at these women. And it was insane. But then it really evolved into something really special. And it was nice. But I think, to also go along with what you're saying about as far as, the hype around it wasn't meant. And it's interesting because like Triple H always talks about how you should always perform like it's live, right? You should always do a show. And that's the problem he always had with SmackDown is, sometimes the performers got a little complacent with the idea of like, oh, I could do this again. And he's like, well, no, you can't. Like, don't have that mentality, right? And NXT, they were able to, at one time rehearse a lot and before they were putting on any live shows, they weren't on television though, right? So they were able to put a lot into it. And yes, it does change the dynamic once you go to live television for sure, right? And when I did ask him at the time, when I did one of the conference calls, I did ask him about that live element. Hi, Paul. And I did ask him about that. So you should always treat it like, and I said, is there a concern in that component of going to live shows every week, that like episodic thing? But it does change it. And when you're kind of forced to change your whole dynamic of everything and not like slowly wean your way into something like that, it's hard. It's really, really hard. And then they were really at a, kind of at a disadvantage. In the beginning, the numbers were, I wouldn't say completely equal in terms of their viewership. AEW still
no, it was an embarrassment. AEW destroyed them. I mean,
weren't there some weeks though that it was like not close, but like
if they had like a big event like Great American Bash, beat AEW like 2 weeks in a row or something like that in viewership, but not in the 18 to 49 demographic, which is
I see what you're saying. Matters. Okay, but you know what I mean in terms of viewership though.
I think in oh my god, like 80 weeks of them facing each other like head to head, I think AEW like only lost the demographic twice or something like that.
Well,
and NXT had 1 million viewers once. AEW's had it like they're incredible what they're doing right now. I mean, I'm blown away by AEW.
I mean,
at a time when ratings across the board are declining,
yes,
they're rising, they're thriving. They're one of the top shows on cable, not just the top show of like Wednesday night, of like all of cable for the week.
You have to see, you know, I challenge everybody, go back to the Wrestleview page and look for our first review of AEW.
Double or Nothing.
Yes. And I told everybody on that show that it was going to be successful. I said, it's going to have, you know, and I said, it's not going to be my, you know, this is my favorite show, like to watch. But I was like, watch, they're going to have their issues, but they're going to amount to something. So, and they are right now.
Yeah.
Which good for them. You know what I mean? Like that's great. But in terms of, like, going back to NXT, it's really tough because I think a lot of what happens now in that, what they're doing with them, it has to do with the main roster, because what you are in NXT is not what you're going to be in the main roster. And the disconnect is just, it's not there. There's like there's no cohesiveness whatsoever with the shows.
Oh,
you could be a totally different person, debut as the same individual, but you're not the same person.
It's insane that, like, you know, like I understand like if they sign somebody from Impact that like got let go from Impact,
right?
And like, you know, you just rewrite their history or just completely ignore, like, oh,
yes.
You know, like for example, Bobby Lashley. As far as we know, when Bobby Lashley came back, when they released him in like 2007, 2008, whenever it was, it's like, oh, Bobby Lashley went away and for a couple of years, he just didn't do anything with professional wrestling.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, what about all the time he was in Impact? Well, of course, they're not going to acknowledge that. Like that, I understand. But like coming from like NXT, which is an intellectual property that your company owns, that you have on TV the next night after Raw. It's like it's completely ignored.
It's completely ignored. Yeah,
so
exactly.
At least we know now where NXT stands in WWE's eyes. Like we like for a while, like when Karrion Kross, for example, debuts as the NXT champion and gets pinned on his first night. It's like, why would you want to devalue your brand? Well, they don't think anything of this brand.
They don't think anything of it.
I guarantee. I would bet you that it's not going to be on television much longer.
No,
because
and it shouldn't be.
From what I understand about the deal that they have with the USA Network, WWE is essentially paying for the time to get it on the air. It wasn't a thing that USA actively went out of their way to put on the network. It was like that's how desperately they wanted it on Wednesday night in that time slot that they're paying for.
I gotta be honest with you.
I would bet you that NXT, now that they've released all this talent, and it seems like, you know, the edict is now no midgets, only big people and people that could be box office attractions, which, you know, like I can understand like both sides of the coin on that too, because they haven't made any stars in NXT.
They have, but they don't let them be there. They are.
They made like Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Alexa Bliss,
Paige at the time,
Asuka, but Asuka was a star anyway. Who?
Paige at the time.
Paige. Kind of, yeah. Like she was like,
she had a lot of, you know,
before it was on television and stuff like that. You had to go out of your way to find it when she was on an NXT.
But that's when it was special, though. You know,
like Keith Lee, like they totally screwed that up completely. He wasn't even on the show this week.
But again, that's all to do what happens at the main roster, though. So I
agree, but you know, like, but. Yes, there's been bad booking, no question about it. But some people like if you're trained well and you know you went through the system, you like maybe like you can figure out how to get around it. Like these people, they weren't trained well enough to get around these things. They're limited when they get to the main roster, partly because this is the worst creative ever. This is it. I don't care. 1995, kiss my ass with 1995. This is the worst creative WWE has ever had. They couldn't bump into a star if they tried. You know, it's like, but at the same time, like that, like they're not churning out interesting folks. You know, like they signed a lot of indie talent, which they were good, but a lot of them really aren't cut out for that main roster because of how it is, number one, but also they really don't just stand out. You know, there's just some people that won't stand out.
I think it would be in their best interest to not make it a weekly thing, to not be televised like that.
I don't think they should be televised at all. Because what they are doing, I mean, they brought up a couple people that actually are legitimately in training. Like the one, you know, like Xia Li is still like in training. The one who gave Mercedes Martinez the concussion that has kept her on the shelf for months, and she got fired while recovering from a concussion. You know, like these people shouldn't be learning the craft while performing live.
Exactly.
So I think
that's the big problem.
I think NXT is going to go back
on its way is out. Yeah,
I think it's going to go back to the WWE Network,
and it should.
Or just
it
go
should.
away completely. Like
I wouldn't want to see it go away completely. I mean, if it went back to the way it was, where again they were kind of,
I think eventually it goes away completely. Like it's
I would hate to see that.
It's so crazy. Like we're talking about like NXT like it's dead. It is essentially. Whatever we thought of NXT, whatever you enjoyed about NXT, whatever you know whatever made you want to tune into that product, it's gone.
Well, it's not the same thing anymore.
It's over.
I would
releases
see that.
Come. I wouldn't be surprised if after this takeover show they have a big dumping of talent again. I just wouldn't. It would not surprise me.
It's really, it's amazing to see though how much of it is just going on so fast too. It's like 1 minute, you know, we have all of these, you know, we have all this talent, and then it's like, no, not anymore. Sorry. Like we're just like cutting the grass here.
Yeah.
As if it's nothing.
You know, it's tough. You know, like they in a way they haven't done their job to create any superstars for the main roster, but that wasn't the focus for a long time, and now they want to make that the focus. You know, I think they should just reinvest in FCW and, you know, like actually have a developmental and have NXT as like like WWE runs best when it's like a variety show, and like NXT was that show if you wanted pure professional wrestling without all the stupid crap that they do on Raw and SmackDown,
right, with the stories and stuff. Yeah,
like, that was your go-to if you know, as a fan.
Yes,
you know, that was the one thing that they could satisfy.
Well, that's why I gotta say, like, I was always pleasantly surprised when we would go to the NXT shows, and I'm like, wow, this is really good. You know,
they were great shows.
They were really,
some of the
really
best
good.
shows I've ever went to in my life were the NXT shows.
It was so hard to believe that it was the same company. It was producing these shows. And that's why I would hate to see it go away completely. I mean, I would not be surprised, like you said, if it did happen like that.
Who's going to want to tune into it? Who's
with the reputation
NXT?
now?
Who's tuning into NXT?
But if it went back to the way it was, that would be great. But maybe it won't, though.
I don't think it does. It's too far gone.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. Well, and the other big piece of news coming up is Bray Wyatt. The dismissal of Bray Wyatt.
That is
incredible. I mean, I hated the Fiend. There's no I hated the Fiend. But if as much as you heard me rant about it, what did I hate about the Fiend the most?
Yeah.
The fact that it was a great idea to begin with, and WWE had to take it. Vince had to take it in a different direction. Had to make it actually Bray Wyatt and the Fiend are two different people.
Yes.
And now he's supernatural. And they gave him, he was impervious to pain, and you couldn't beat him. And it was just like, this is not professional wrestling anymore. You cannot have this character in a professional wrestling setting. Like I don't care. Like for those people that say like, oh well, you know, there's no there is no standard for professional wrestling and blah blah blah. It's like you know, like there's just like professional wrestling is essentially the same as it's been for 50. You're supposed to have a good guy and a bad guy, and the bad guy gets beat eventually.
Yeah. Yep.
And you couldn't beat that bad guy. You couldn't beat the Fiend. Unless you're Goldberg or Randy Orton hitting him with an RKO, but setting him on fucking fire.
Setting him on fire didn't do
anything.
Didn't do it.
But
no,
but an RKO,
and that's the thing.
Fine.
It obviously
it was stupid.
Well, it evolved to something really.
They took whatever Wyndham Rotunda came up with and bastardized it.
Yes. No, absolutely. It was inevitable, though. It was going to happen because people were enjoying it in the beginning. I mean, there are people who are very loyal to the character to the very end, obviously, but that wasn't the majority of individuals. But in the beginning, everybody loved it. I mean, everything about the character had a lot of potential and had a lot of, it just had a lot to it. You know, it was different. It was unique. It was interesting. Definitely, you know, was engaging, but then it turned crazy. It turned into something that just cannot be attainable in terms of its development.
Right.
It just evolved into something that was just not professional wrestling, as you said. And, you know, but again, to go against that point, though, was I happy with The Fiend towards the end? No. Was I happy with Bray Wyatt's character? No. Did I want to see Bray Wyatt have to leave the company? Absolutely not. Like, I don't want him to have to. I didn't want him to have to leave. Like that. I don't think that's.
I was hoping that they took all this time off and kind of refocus the character, and bring it closer to what was the initial intention.
Exactly. Not him. Like, okay, we're releasing it. Like that. I mean,
the
ridiculous.
character had one of the greatest like one of the best debuts for any gimmick I've ever seen. SummerSlam 2019. That was one of the best debuts of a gimmick I've ever seen in professional wrestling, period.
Yeah.
And the very next match he has is in October against Seth Rollins in that Hell in a Cell. And they brought out the red lights and cartoon mallets and a million headshots. And he just kept getting up and stomps. You couldn't beat him. It was just like, wow. It went from this really interesting thing of like Bray Wyatt saying that he's tapping into this other side and wearing the mask kind of lets him, you know, free this evil.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, now it's like, no, it's an actual thing. It's a person. It's not Bray Wyatt. And Vince ruined it.
He totally ruined it.
100% ruined it. And it never recovered from it.
He couldn't leave well enough alone.
Well, he never can. Never can.
He can't ever help himself.
So, I mean, but, you know, Bray Wyatt, he was never good in the ring. I've never seen a good Bray Wyatt match, not one in my entire life. Well,
he always had some sort of like curse around him too. He was
getting injured a lot.
You know, he was getting injured, and you know, people who he was feuding with they also didn't like benefit from it really. Name somebody. I mean, you could probably name somebody who really benefit from feuding with Bray Wyatt.
Nobody. There are people that just survived. You know, that got by, but a lot of people who fought the Fiend were irreparably damaged. Seth Rollins as a face ended because of the Fiend. And a lot of people, you know, there's a lot of fools out there that will say, oh, that was the intention, that you know, that the Fiend was this bridge that was going to turn Seth Rollins heel. He was one of the hottest faces that they had, and then he faced the Fiend and was made to look like a friggin' idiot.
Yeah.
And never recovered from that. And he had to go heel because that was the only way to save the character.
Yeah.
Same with the Miz. Yeah. Miz was was doing well as a face.
Mm-hmm.
Faces the Fiend, heel.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan had a decent match against the Fiend just because he's a genius and he survived without any real damage. Same thing with Kevin Owens. And then, of course, Goldberg comes out and just beats him. Like, it doesn't make any sense at all. It just didn't make any sense. You know, oh my God. It's just,
well, it was the same
and now we have Alexa Bliss doing this stuff.
It was the same thing.
It's amazing.
Bray Wyatt was Bray Wyatt, though.
But he was a genius on the microphone. You know, like he's a once in a life. He's a once in a generation promo guy. You know, on the, you know, for that company.
Yeah,
he was a genius in the things that he could do and would say and how he delivered his stuff. Just wasn't good in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
But there's been a lot of guys throughout history that have been awful in the ring and great on the microphone. That can carry you, and it carried him. It carried him. He's a main eventer.
Well, because when you
and he had a lot more to give.
Yes, he did.
It did. It's going to be a big get for somebody else. It really is.
Well, maybe probably AEW.
I don't know.
But that seems to be the pattern, though. At this point, you leave or you're released and you go there. And I think somebody like Daniel Bryan going over there now is really going to motivate some people, because I'm not saying like there haven't been, bigger guys who've gone over there. I mean, obviously Jericho going over there has helped them quite a bit. Right. But somebody like Daniel Bryan, who's, that's huge.
If and when Daniel Bryan goes there and if and when CM Punk debuts.
Yeah.
They're
legit.
It's not hyperbole to say it's a game changer,
because even like when like now, like obviously Dean Ambrose, Jon Moxley, right? I wouldn't say that was that was a good find for them, right? For sure.
Yeah.
It was a good get, but like at the same time though, I don't know necessarily if it was motivating enough for other individuals in WWE to be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go over there. Do you know what I mean? It was like, okay. But somebody like Daniel Bryan now is like, okay, this is a game changer.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, that's a shift.
That's because that's not somebody who. There are some people in WWE I personally find, I'm like, no matter where you put them, I feel like they're just not. They feel like they have that necessarily that it factor, right? Like I don't think they are going to really like amount to much regardless. I think they just don't have it. But someone like Daniel Bryan, who actually has charisma, talent, in-ring ability.
He's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time.
Absolutely. Him going over there is like, okay, wait a minute. Like this is somebody legitimate who is making that decision to go there, to be involved. It's just different.
All right. Danielle, of course, is, carrying the WWE flag, and like you can't mention AEW without triggering Danielle, apparently. But it is possible for AEW to do well without it having to be like, oh, this is a total. They're just coming to destroy WWE. No, it's literally like they're adding stars to better themselves. They've signed a lot of great talent. Now, there's some talent that they signed that I don't understand. Like like Christian for one. I wouldn't be pushing Christian over like Adam Page, for example. I think that's a mistake. They do have their roster is a little heavy. That's why I'm kind of glad. That they're getting that second show so that they can feature more people. But what are they going to do with Punk and Bryan? Just wait and see. It's like it has nothing to do with WWE, but it is a major acquisition and a game changer in terms of who's going to be like the destination program for wrestling fans.
I just I do,
in my opinion,
I would love. I have a hard time believing this is going to happen. This should fuel a fire in WWE.
No, you would think.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it should. I would love for that to happen, because then you bring excitement to the products again. You have these feuds and you have these, there's these outlets for people. If you're not crazy about WWE, go to AEW. If you're not crazy about AEW, go to WWE. But it may not do that though, and I don't know. And with Vince being in control, it's not.
It's not
with Vince being in control. It's just it can't happen. It can't. But I would love to. And again, I don't want anything happening to Vince, because I think at this point, Vince is the only he has to literally die at this point in order for him to not be in control anymore.
That's the only
I don't want anything to happen to him by any means.
I wish that he could just.
I just want him
step down or let go of the reins, or
this would, especially now,
bring in people that aren't insufferable kiss asses.
Why just say that
Pritchard
now? Because I'm like, especially now with like the really the hype into the AEW and the amount of attention it's getting and the the success that it has right now, it's like it would really, really be something if we had somebody who really could get WWE back to a great state and like have this, feud. It'd be great. It really would.
I don't want a feud. I just want
Not
wrestling
a
to be
feud,
good.
not a feud.
I just want wrestling to be good.
Well, no,
But,
I actually no, I do
with
mean
this
a feud.
Fucking, it's a $1 billion industry for good or bad. AEW will never beat WWE, even on WWE's worst product and day. They'll never beat. That's not the point. That's not what we're talking about here. We're not talking about beating WWE. We're talking about who's just gonna like what show's gonna be better. Yeah, AEW show will probably be better than WWE's. Will WWE always be the destination program? Yeah, but for a lot of people, yes, because it's like, that's just the name that they know. It's like the NFL. Like why will the XFL never work? Because it's not the NFL. Like the NFL has been the standard in the country for football forever.
And WWE is that standard.
WWE is the NFL. But this is another league. Like, WWE wrestling's popularity in the country is not what it was, even 10 years ago, even 5 years ago. It's dramatically decreased in popularity. It keeps getting money because the television companies want live programming. That's why. And because WWE is the NFL, people are paying for the name. They're not really looking at the numbers and saying like, oh my God, well, they've had declining ratings. They've lost 3 million viewers, 3 million average viewers from 3 years ago. They're gone. They're just gone and they're never coming back. But they're still paying big money because live programming is the only way that these television companies can beat streaming. So they're paying big money because that's the only way that people tune into television. That's how they're going to get Netflix and Amazon Prime and all these places, because you need like something, destination television.
Yeah, and I listen. I don't listen. I think that Daniel's just bringing that up. I don't think it means any other way than the fact that Daniel's just saying that like WWE is that go-to. It is. It's the go-to wrestling.
Right. But he's like hung up on this, like this, oh, it's a war.
Who cares?
It's not a war.
No, who cares? But that doesn't matter though. Some people.
And the war was won.
I got to be honest with you.
WWE's even acknowledged.
I got to be honest with you.
WWE's even acknowledged that they lost the Wednesday night war.
Listen, I agree with you though. I agree with you to an extent though, but I do agree with Daniel to an extent though that I wish they would kind of view it as this feud, because maybe if you are looking at a product that is excelling right now, that should motivate you. But what's happening is WWE is WWE. They have their name, and V said it. I think it was V. V said it's what did he say? WWE is MLB. It's NBA, NHL. That's what, someone like Daniel and what every year saying. They have their name. So they become complacent in their product because they have their name. Like you mentioned before, they're buying a product. But you wish that they would see it as this like feud type thing, because you would want to motivate them.
I want to, I thought, I remember when Double or Nothing happened, going back to that show that you were just talking about that we did, and thinking, my God, like this is one of the best professional wrestling shows I've seen in America in a long time.
Yeah.
In a long time. It's probably one of the best. Double or Nothing is probably one of the best shows I've ever seen, period. For any country's wrestling shows. And I remember thinking like WWE's going to come back. They're going to respond and try to, hot shot some things, on Monday. And what were they doing when AEW was pulling off Double or Nothing? They were teasing Brock Lesnar Money in the Bank cash-ins 4 weeks in a row to diminishing returns.
Right.
Like when they debuted Dynamite, their response was, oh, we'll put NXT against them. And there was there seemed to be no pulse of trying to improve their product. They are so stuck in their ways. They're so stuck in this scripted promos, and everybody sounds the same. Everybody has the same move set. And then they wonder why they're hemorrhaging fans. Like they keep getting money for the exact reasons that I just told you. I'm not going to go into it again. But their show is hard to watch.
Yes.
An AEW show is a breeze because
it's different.
Because it's the true variety show. The thing that WWE used to be, the thing that made WWE so great. The fact that you could be in a feud with somebody, but face other people in different matches.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
we've seen Sheamus versus Ricochet 9,000 times this year. We saw it again tonight. Damian Priest debuted like after the Royal Rumble, right? And then he got hurt, but he was still feuding with The Miz and John Morrison. They paid all that money for Bad Bunny to come in. And yes, part of it was a media grab because it's Bad Bunny and he's a really popular Latinx singer, performer.
Yeah.
But also they put him in a tag team with Damian Priest. You're paying all this money to get the media, but you're also paying all that money to build a star. And they were hoping that Damian Priest was going to get that rub from the Bad Bunny thing. And it's August, and Damian Priest just had another match with John Morrison. Like, there's been no break for Damian Priest. Now he's finally going against Sheamus for the United States title. But for months, they took him off of television for a month because they had nothing for him. And then he comes back, and it's more Miz and Dripstick.
I think we have to stop saying they. I think we have to start realizing the fact that it's just Vince.
It's creative.
It's Vince, Bruce.
And
Bruce Pritchard too. But it really, it's just sad.
It's rematch after rematch. There's no well, number one, there's no women for anybody to face. So of course Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair have to face Nikki Ash, ASH or whatever her name is, in multiple matches leading to their triple threat. At SummerSlam because there's nobody else for them to face. But like I remember the days of The Rock was going to face Brock Lesnar in SummerSlam 2002, and he had a one night rivalry with Eddie Guerrero in the middle of it.
Daniel, no, you don't.
No,
Daniel.
I'm getting carried away.
No, Daniel, you're not. I know you're not trying to pick a fight, and you're entitled to your opinion. And Daniel, I have to say, I do agree with you on your opinion. I have, a slight disagreement with you on certain stuff, but in general, I do agree with Daniel that WWE has its name, and WWE is going to be, in theory, right? Like in overall, when it comes to the wrestling world, it's going to be the number one product simply for the fact that its name is WWE. It's been around for years. They haven't had the competition. Its name, John Cena, Roman Reigns, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin. They've all been part of WWE, WWF world. So yes, that is why they'll always have their name, because they've had those individuals and those stars. Daniel, I don't ever want you to keep your opinion to yourself. You're entitled to your opinion.
Yes. Although to say AEW stealing WWE rejects is incorrect.
These
people have been let go. They're looking for a place to go.
No. I get where he's coming from, because they're
stealing
them. But they're taking them. Let's put it that way. They're not necessarily stealing, but they are definitely there was a time, and I have to agree with Daniel on this one. There was a time if you were let
no, these are people that have families and livelihoods and they need to work. It's not stealing.
No, but I'm not saying stealing to you. What I'm saying to you is there was a time, though, we're not stealing, but if they left the company or they were let go, they went into, it was automatically like AEW's like vultures and like, hey, come here.
Because they need a place to work. It's not stealing.
I'm not saying stealing.
But it's not even vulturing.
But it is vulturing though, because they were taking like stupid people. I'm like okay,
who?
Really? You're gonna I can't think on top of my head. But they were definitely taking people who you're like, ew, why would you do that? But
the only one I never understood was Jake Hager. I never understood the Jack Swagger.
Okay, well there you go.
But that wasn't he was gone for years.
Doesn't matter. It's still like
not a WWE.
It's still people you don't think for a second, you don't automatically think that people are, when they leave WWE, they're like, oh, they're gonna go all the way go to AEW. It's like 99% of the time.
I think V's on point here. AEW isn't stealing WWE rejects. AEW is cashing in on free agents. It's yes, I understand the argument of the TNA and Impact thing, where it's like they just signed too many people, from WWE, but it's not like.
No, I'm not. Wait a minute. I need to hold on one second. I don't know why people are saying Daniel's on my shit list. Daniel's not on my shit list. I'm agreeing with Daniel. I'm defending Daniel right now. Daniel, you're not on my shit list and you're not in the doghouse. I don't know where people are getting that from.
Me.
It's you. I'm not doing anything. I'm defending Daniel. I agree with him. I do have to get my charger.
Oh, your charger?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like 7.
Fine.
1 second.
All right. Victoria's gonna get a charger. But they're taking these people that are released and yes, like when TNA was taking people, it was like people that really were like bottom of the barrel, washed up, like nobodies, like there was something like Hogan and Road Dogg and Billy Gunn. I mean, not that Billy Gunn's on the AW roster, but he's not really like doing much. Let's put it that way. Like Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, anybody that was like from yesteryear, that's who they were signing. But like, AEW signing Pac and John Moxley, like these are guys that are like they're free agents for a reason. Like what was the point of releasing Bray Wyatt, Daniel? Like what's the point of releasing Braun Strowman? What was the point of releasing Bronson Reed? Half the people that they've released, the reason is that I really do believe WWE is getting ready to sell their company. That's number one. That's really what I believe. They're shedding so much money and they are making record profits. So the only reason I could really I am 100% a firm believer that they are shopping this company, and maybe that's how we get Vince out. But man, as much as I can't stand Vince, there are people in the wings that understand wrestling in that company. Triple H, Stephanie, like Michael Hayes still he still gets wrestling, like there are people. There's a good machine there, but if you settle like Disney and they send their writers in there, professional wrestling, as you know, in the United States is like kaput. it's not going to be what it'll never Vince is in control. It's going to be really a hard obstacle for wrestling to ever rise to any sort of like real true prominence. But if another company buys it that doesn't understand wrestling, it'll never return. It'll never return. No, even Grash, you're wrong. Even last year, like there was a lot of people that were released last year that were not washed up. Rusev was not washed up. Like that's one name that just jumps out at me right away.
Oh dear Lord.
No, that's the narrative that like people are trying to pass off.
But some people are entitled.
They're entitled to their opinions, and I'm entitled to say that it's not true.
Of course you are. No one's disputing that.
You are, because you are telling me that I can't rebut these things because
I'm not telling you can't rebut. You just have to get so excitable about it.
I'm not excitable. What like Jesus, like what the fuck? I'm literally just explaining. It's like it's like I'm disputing all these like classic tropes that aren't true. like Brody Lee wasn't washed up. He was in his prime, and unfortunately, that lung ailment took him out. It's terrible what happened to him. There's a lot of people. They were hoarding talent. Okay, like let's go back to like 2010, like when they released like Eric Escobar. Yes, that was a never going anywhere, nobody character. Like they were releasing whoever whoever was on that roster at the time. They're awful. But for years, like starting like 2016, 2017, WWE started hoarding like all of this talent. They had a giant roster of like 250 people on it, and like a lot of them were really great. A lot of them were just great people. Now they're being released because we don't have anything anymore. Like we don't have anything for you.
Yeah.
You know, like it's hard. It's just not the argument is incorrect to say that these are all washed up talents.
I don't think they're all washed up, but I do think that there are individuals.
Okay, like Mike Chioda washed up. Okay, as a referee, he was washed up, I suppose. Like Kurt Angle, like being on the roster. Like, yeah, I get it. He's like washed up. Like that's a thing. But there's a lot of people. Well, No Way Jose was and never was. He wound up in Impact. See, like that. See, okay, so like that's where Impact went wrong. Like at least AEW didn't sign No Way Jose. Like he was floating out there for a while. Like like Aiden English, like went to TNA. Like they're pushing Aiden English. Hello. Do we see talent? Do we recognize talent? Zack Ryder. Everybody's talking about Zack Ryder of because of the Nick Gage match, and like, he had good heat in GCW. Woohoo! Who cares? Zack Ryder, like Cody did him a personal favor bringing him in to be part of like All Out last year, and Zack Ryder never, on his best day, never stood out.
Right. That's what I'm saying. There are certain individuals.
But who's starring in Impact now? Oh, radio. Mr. Zach. Big Matt. Woohoo. Like Impact. See, that's why Impact sucks. Because like they're signing the wrong talents. They would pass on a Rusev. They did pass on a Rusev. Anyway. Raw was good tonight. I thought it was good.
45 minutes later.
Ranger Cole is in the chat room tonight. We got EC in the chat room tonight. Let's see. Did I miss anybody else? There's anybody else. And I stopped reading the comments for a while. So Trevor Mishke's here. Trevor Mishke. All right. This is the conspiracy theory that I actually kind of believe in too.
What?
Trevor, I kind of thought this when they were releasing Bray Wyatt. I was like, are they trying to like just like make AEW sign everybody that WWE screwed up so that they eventually run out of money, which isn't going to happen because Shahid Khan is, a billionaire.
He's like a billionaire.
He has more money than Vince. And let's not forget that Tony Khan is part owner of a football team and a soccer team. He's not exactly poor, but it's almost like, like they get them to sign so many free agents that it's like, well, what do we do with everybody? Well, they got a second show, so they did it. Billy Hefner's here. Graham Costigan Cripps is here. Hello. All right. So,
I'm like dizzy.
Well, anyway, going back to Bray Wyatt, it's good. It's like, the Alexa Bliss stuff.
We have to go back to Bray Wyatt.
The Alexa Bliss stuff is atrocious, and it's like a watered down, bastardized version of his Fiend character. They fired him and essentially gave her his gimmick and then fired him. And then I guarantee you they're going to be sitting there like, oh, they're chanting, "We want Wyatt" during her matches. These disrespectful fans. Like,
you caused it.
That was all you.
That was all you, buddy.
That was all you. You fired the guy that invented the gimmick, and then you gave it to somebody else and let them run with it. Good Lord. Hello, Mr. V. Kona Reeves. Do we care that he got cut? No, it's not going to be like a lot of the people. Okay, a lot of the 12 or 13 that got cut, they'll probably never. A good portion of them will probably never be in professional wrestling again in any real sense. A lot of those people never made it to television, so they're probably just going to fall back on something else that they did, and it'll be like, oh well, I was signed by WWE at one point, and it was pretty cool. Like I had an opportunity to make it TV, but I just didn't make it. It's gonna be like there'll be like minor league baseball players that never got the big call up to the show. Yes, a lot of those people, but at the same time, we have to think that this is a company making record profits. They're and they fired more people than ever. So like, what is the deal behind that? And a lot of these people is like, oh, they want NXT to be younger and big guys, and a lot of the people that they cut were young. Maybe they weren't getting it. I don't know anything about a lot of those people that were cut. But I mean, like Bronson Reed, young and big and talented. I wasn't all in on Bronson Reed at the get-go, but he grew on me, and I could see a lot of potential there. And they gave him a big push, and now he's out. It's like, wow, it's pretty rough. And I wonder what's going to go on with NXT UK. That's like, wow, like that show's in trouble. Anyway, let's talk about Raw. I'm done talking about all this other stuff. Randy Orton, an hour before the show goes on the air. That's when they decided to announce that Randy Orton was coming back.
Yes.
They could have announced it last week and got everybody really jazzed about seeing Randy Orton come back. It's been a month and a half since we've seen him or so. And you'd think that that's something that you would want people to know ahead of time. Not WWE. But
No.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, who the hell knows
I don't know
why? Like,
I don't know
maybe it's just off because they didn't know themselves till a couple days ago that he was coming back. So who the hell knows?
Yeah.
Seriously, they write the show as they go along, so they probably found out 2 days ago that he was coming back. They're like, "Oh, okay."
Apparently, found out an hour ago that he was coming back. I was like, "Quick, make a graphic."
Yeah, really. That's what I'm saying. So you never really know with these people.
It's like, oh, so strange.
He came back with the stash,
like a weird goatee. Like he started growing that, and then he got rid of it, and then he came back, and it was like, oh my god.
Now he looks like he's making adult films.
It's a weird.
I'm not digging it. I'm not loving it. It looks like he's making adult films.
Yeah, I don't
Maybe
know.
that's what he was doing. Maybe that was his time off. He was making a couple movies.
I'm not interested in seeing Randy Orton's Viper. I'll tell you that. I am not interested in that.
I really think that was happening. So
let me see if I can. Yeah.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Here it is. I'm gonna pull it up from Facebook so you can see like
yeah.
what we're talking
Tell me
about
I'm
here.
wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. I really think he was making adult films in the process. I'm just saying. He was gone for a while. Grew that mustache. Can't convince me otherwise. Yeah. Oh, he's definitely making films.
It's weird. It's like I don't know. Like, okay, when I was a kid, my grandma T had.
Where are you going with this story?
Well, I'm going to tell you. Let me explain the damn story, and then you'll find out where I'm going with this. My grandmother had the decor in her house was atrocious. It was like green carpet and green like crushed velvet chairs. I was like, ugh. It's like I used to walk in there and be like, wow. Like at 4 years old, I'd be like, wow, this lady has no taste.
Terrible.
May she rest in peace.
My God.
Well, I mean, I'm being real. I'm not gonna. I'm not a liar.
I'm being real.
I'm not a liar. I'm passionate, but I'm not a liar, and I'll tell you what I'm thinking always, which is what I've been doing tonight.
Okay, just tell your damn story.
Anyway, so on top of all this like green cacophony of a puke flavored like looking furniture, there was a statue at like the end of the living room of like, I guess it was a Roman soldier, but it's terrified me as a kid. Terrified me. I wonder what happened to this. I have to ask my aunt.
Yeah, ask your ask.
But I used to call it the Eat Man.
The Eat Man?
The Eat Man. And I hated that. I was terrified of the statue. I'd see it and I'd run to like the other room. And Randy Orton has the same facial hair as the Eat Man right now. So I'm getting like real flashbacks to like grandma's house right now. I knocked the Eat Man over and he was cracked in the back because of me.
And did you tell anybody?
Oh, I was in trouble. I got in trouble for that.
From who? From
Grandpa
Grandma? Oh, Grandpa. Yeah, that must have been bad.
Scary guy.
Oh boy.
But man, that Eat Man was.
Are you sure you knocked it over, or did it?
Maybe it attacked me. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
was it possessed?
But he looks like the Eat Man. Like that's really sort of. I wish that I had like more like.
Maybe is there a picture of him?
No, I probably at my mom's house. There's a.
You gotta ask your mom.
Know what to type in. I don't even know what to type in. Like to even try to find this. Like I'm typing in like Eat Man into Google, and it's like
I don't think that's gonna pop up.
Roman soldier statue. It was like a Roman soldier.
I can find it. You want me to find it?
But I don't know like why they had it. Like
I don't. You're asking the wrong person. I wasn't. I didn't know you.
I mean, they were so Catholic. Like why did they have like a statue of Jesus? Like why did they have like the Roman soldier? It was like was that like the?
I know what I'm gonna type in. Hold on.
What grandma's scary fucking furniture .com
statue beard. See what happens.
I don't think that ain't happening.
Was it okay? What kind of outfit did it have? Was it like
a Roman soldier? Like it was like a shield and a cape and a weird hat.
I think I might have found it. I think I found your Eat Man.
Let me show.
Hold on.
Hurry up.
No, keep talking. I'll pull it up.
All right. Anyway, so Randy Orton comes out and he welcomes everybody to Raw, and he says, like there's a Randy chant. Then Riddle immediately makes his way to the ring. He wants to get the band back together with Team RK with RK Bro, and Orton's like, yeah, we had a little thing going for a while, but we're not doing this. Of course, he sent out AJ Styles and Omos, who they're definitely facing at SummerSlam. I don't care what anybody says. And they're kind of like, like, oh, you want to go it alone? Like you guys were losers anyway, or whatever. Orton challenges Styles to a match, and he says, you've been running your mouth. The only thing bigger than your mouth is that jackass over there, Omos. And it was a good promo. It was good interaction, and that was the story that was going to carry the show. And I thought they did a really good job. Like they focused on, they had a focus for tonight, and they did a good job of building it through the night, and it culminated with a satisfying end. Now, I know some people aren't going to like the end. So it is Randy Orton versus AJ Styles, and Orton beats Styles with a little assist from Riddle, at least attacking Omos. And then they hug in the ring, which was a great moment. The crowd in Orlando loved that. And then, they're celebrating the ring, and then Orton hits him with an RKO. Now, I think a lot of the crowd was kind of like bummed about that, thinking like, oh, Randy Orton just turned heel on Riddle. But like, if you're watching the show, you're seeing his facial expressions. He's laughing, and he's like petting Riddle on the head, like, Viper's going to do what Viper's going to do. And even at the end, Riddle was coming to, and he was smiling or laughing or whatever. So RK Bro is, it's a weird way to come back, but like that, they're back. Like, so the show starts with them teasing that they're done, and then it culminates with them being back together. I thought it was really good. And me, I love my odd couple tag teams. Daniel Shell bringing up Dr. Shelby, Team Hell No, one of the greatest odd couple tag teams of all time. Booker T and Goldust, one of my favorites of all time. But RK Bro, it could be really special if they put some time into it. Are you done with this thing yet?
No, I thought I had it, but then it's not really that creepy.
Just forget it.
I'm gonna find it.
Fine.
But
what did you think of the RK Bro stuff?
I love RK Bro. Everything about RK Bro, I am into, and I missed it. I have to say, I really, really did miss it. The connection that they have is something I did not know that would work, but it did. And oddly enough, too, it worked almost immediately. I would say like a teensy bit skeptical in the very beginning when their relationship started, but to what it's evolved to now in such a short amount of time, it's incredible. I really do enjoy it.
I know it is a lot of fun. I'm digging it. I wasn't into like the Riddle, like, oh, I'm high, get it. But they turned it into something fun. Mm-hmm. Their personalities just clash so much that it's like,
yes,
this could really, really work. So that was I thought that was strong. That was a strong way to lead off Raw and end Raw with it too. And normally, like, by the time you get to the third hour, historically crowds have been dead by that point. They did a good job sustaining for the most part of the show. Of course, there was a couple low points in the middle of the show that, this happens in the 3-hour shows. There's going to be low points,
of course,
but they did a great job of they put out a main event that people would actually want to see, like Randy Orton versus AJ Styles. That was a WrestleMania match at WrestleMania 35. Two great performers. Orton, no ring rust. You look great. And they just built this thing up so well. Like he goes to leave, he gets him on the shoulder.
Yes.
Come on back in, listen to them. RK Bro. They hug. Big pop.
What's great about it is there was a crowd for it. The fact that the crowd was there for it made it even better. It really did, honestly.
Yeah.
Because and that's what it was meant for. It was funny when the crowd wasn't there, but having the crowd there made it 10 times better. It really did.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really, really well done. It was really, really well done. So I thought that was a solid piece of Raw. That was the main part of Raw. And that was a success. Another part of Raw that I loved, that I absolutely loved, actually comes from SmackDown. The Baron Corbin thing, I was laughing. I was actually laughing out loud when he's like, I mean, just his face, like the whole thing. He's so disheveled. Let me see if I can pull up the thing of Baron Corbin. Real
Oh
quick.
man.
I mean, he looks atrocious. You know, like they're making him grow out his hair. Oh, where is it? Oh, here it is. Oh my god, this is the best. You know, he's like, wait, is it on? No, crap. Okay, I gotta switch it over. Hold on one sec.
First, real quick, did this Yeet Man have was he green?
Oh my god, stop with the Eat Man. Yeah, he's kind of green. Everything in the house is green.
I'm saying, was he the statue itself like kind of greenish?
I guess.
Okay, that's good to know. Just saying.
There
The
it is.
base is
I mean, it's so ugly.
that's not Yeet Man, by the way, everybody. That is Baron Corbin.
I mean, he had mustard stains on his shirt. He's like begging him. He's like, oh man, you know, like I need this job. You know, Jinder Mahal called me up. I've been living in the WWE production truck because my wife left me with the kids, and I lost my house. I lost my crown. It's like, you know, I've fallen on tough times. I need money. You know, during the match, Drew McIntyre's destroying him. Corbin takes it to him a little bit, and then like at the end, McIntyre's like, you know, I'm starting to feel bad for you. Like, what, like, can I give, like, how much money do you need to get, like, you know, a place to stay, like just for a few nights and get a shower and some food? He's like, I just need $100,000. That's all I need. Because that's all.
Yes, Baron, you and me both.
It was so funny, and Drew McIntyre was so great in this, so great. He goes, oh. 100,000. Why not 200,000? Why not 300,000?
Yes.
3, 2, 1. Claymore. It was. I mean, they're doing a good job of actively rehabbing Drew McIntyre from Storytime Drew back to like actual Drew.
Yes.
And
thank God, because that whole Scottish, like, oh, you know, like wasn't working.
but the problem is like once they get Drew McIntyre hot again, who's he gonna have to face? Bobby Lashley. I mean, how many times have we seen that match?
So many times.
Too many times. But that's all we got.
Yeah.
Because
it's all right. Maybe maybe with the momentum.
Because
again,
they let go of the Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman, people that they could actually
utilize
like,
beforehand. Yeah, exactly.
We need these people. But
we need those buffers.
Oh my God, Baron Corbin is just
he is life. He is my life. That is me on a daily basis, everyone. This is all a facade.
That's kind of what I look like during vacation.
This is like a facade right now. This is all. It takes a lot to get this going. I usually look like Baron Corbin most of the time.
like I was not combing my hair during vacation. No way. I also loved and I kind of wanted Drew McIntyre to do a little more of this. But of course, if I say that, then they'll have
don't know. We don't want you to do any of it. Wow.
Don't do any of this.
That sucked tonight.
But he had the microphone. He gives him the Claymore kick, gets the win. He kips up and he goes, "Good night, Corbin." It kind of reminded me of like Jerry Lawler doing commentary during his matches.
Yes.
So much fun. Jeff Hardy's back from COVID, and he goes against Karrion Kross, and just to show you that this company doesn't know what the hell they're doing, like they had Karrion Kross beat him tonight. It's like they're playing catch up. Like they made Karrion Kross destroy him.
They're like, oh, wait a minute.
Remember all those people are like, oh well, it's part of a storyline. Like Karrion Kross is going to go
storyline.
Karrion Kross is going to go on a long losing streak, and then Scarlett's going to come, and it's like, well, I guess that's not happening now. I mean, even though he is literally 50-50, he's 1-2 and lost 2. But no Keith Lee tonight.
No.
Poor
guy.
Oh God, this Alexa Bliss versus Doudrop match.
It's just never going to be good.
It's horrible.
It's never going to be good.
It's
just not. It's really not. And I thought Lily was done. No.
Oh, I didn't tell you. I ordered Lily.
You ordered? Oh, wait.
Yep.
It's finally
they have it on pre-order, and it'll be shipped.
Okay.
I think like around August 24th.
Okay.
So Lily's gonna have a Lily.
Lily's gonna have a Lily. Okay.
It's gonna be good.
Well, she'll have like most of the people.
Yeah, I know.
Mercy, the Vince puppet.
Oh, I know.
Lily now.
I know. It's such good shit.
Oh my god.
But this Alexa Bliss stuff sucks.
Terrible.
Like when they had when they showed Lily wink at Dewdrop, like they like the crowd actually audibly groaned. They're like, "Oh."
I would have.
And then they turned down the crowd mics and blasted Alexa Bliss's music so you couldn't hear anything. It's like, "Oh, okay. It's working. Keep doing it."
Oh, we love that stuff.
Yeah, that was really great. Do more of that.
Wink, wink, everyone.
Idiots. Oh my god. Just bad. Just bad.
I was mad at you on vacation, by the way, on our drive.
Why?
Because you started listening to Bruce Pritchard. I'm like, why are you doing what? Don't give this man any airtime.
Listening to the King of the Ring.
I don't care.
That's
what
why
you're
I
listening
to.
Don't ever listen to him again.
I needed something to keep me awake. It was a long drive.
And that's gonna do it for you.
It pisses me off so much listening to him fucking bullshit. I can't stand him. It was like I was hate listening to him. Yes, you're right. I hate listening to him. He's such a liar. Like Mr. Cocaine Cowboy can't keep his story straight.
Here we go, everyone.
I hate him.
Here we go.
He's ruining wrestling.
Here we go.
He has ruined wrestling.
Here we go.
Him and his creative.
Here we go.
Oh, we can't have the Viking. We can't have the War Raiders. We have to have the Viking Experience. Oh, that didn't work. Let's do the Viking Express. Let's do the Viking. Horrible. Idiot. Where are they? Viking Raiders gone.
You're asking the wrong. You asked me the wrong questions. I don't know any of the answers.
Whatever.
Stop asking me questions I don't know.
Whatever. What is a championship? Oh, another Bruce championship contenders match. Oh, if Ricochet beats the champion, maybe he'll be in line for a title shot.
Please.
I hate it. I hate that. I like that. That's the thing that drove me crazy on SmackDown. Was like, you know, they tell you that there's gonna be a title match, and then because the show's being written as they go, it's like, oh, actually, we're gonna make it a championship contenders match.
Actually, we don't know what we're doing, so we're just gonna go with it, people. That's pretty much what happens. But I will say that Ricochet and Sheamus had a pretty good match. So.
Actually, it was great.
Yeah,
it was really good. Even though we've seen it 75,000 times this year, it was well done. I keep accidentally clicking back to this picture of Baron Corbin in the tabs. It's like I keep going back to this. I don't know why.
It's
like
best.
I'm trying to go back to the recap.
It's best. His face says it all right there. How his life's going. I love it. Can't.
It's really good.
It's fantastic.
So ugly. But I mean, there was a couple of really great spots in this match, and you know, it's hard hitting. What's going on?
No, she's looking like a freak in the crib.
But man, you know, it's like obviously, like, you know, Ricochet's not the direction. But I did want to point this out on Twitter. They unintentionally put out something brutally honest and something.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say.
True.
Yes, I know what you're gonna say.
They had the GIF of Ricochet hitting the crossbody on the Sheamus onto the commentary table. And it says, he does not need a microphone. His moves are freaking powerful for Ricochet. I was like, yeah, that's what I've been saying. He doesn't need a microphone. Stop making this guy cut promos. Let him just wrestle and give him a friggin' manager and he'll be fine. Like, he's not going to be like a main event or anything like that, but he can be a very serviceable talent.
Oh, he absolutely
as long
can.
as you never let him talk again.
Absolutely.
If he's injured, don't even let him talk to the doctor. Just bring him to the back. There's no talking on television. None.
Agreed.
None.
Agreed. Because the first night,
definitely don't try to make him look like he has a personality. Definitely don't make him try to tell a joke.
Why not me?
just get rid of it.
Why not me? But that was literally what I said from the beginning when he debuted on the main roster. I was like, I like him, but he should never speak. Right. And was I correct?
I agree.
I was correct. Just saying.
Yes, you
are. I know my stuff sometimes, people.
Yes. Yes, you do. Brett Farmer, manager for someone too small to main event. It'll never happen. Well, manager, like Vince hates managers. So it's like
Vince hates people. Vince just doesn't like wrestling. Vince hates his own product.
Vince hates the product that he is selling. It's like really weird. It's always been weird. But you know, this is the future wrestling right here. Damian Priest.
Can't wait.
Mr. Excitement. You know, like Damian Priest is like a good salad. Like
I'm sorry.
like when you're eating it, it's like, yeah, like this is actually a good salad. But no matter how much you dress up a salad, it's like supremely uninteresting, and you don't really remember your salad after you eat it.
Okay, no, please don't compare him to that. Compare him to something else, because I thoroughly enjoy my salads every day.
You enjoy your salads, but like what's like your favorite salad of all time that you've ever had in your life? It's just,
I could tell you.
Shut up and let me make my goddamn point and stop trying to disprove everything. The analogy works for people that aren't in love with stupid salad.
I love salad.
I know you do.
So that was a bad comparison for me.
Whatever. That's what I got.
All right, fine.
That's what I got.
Fine.
It's 12:40 at night. That's what I got.
You keep your analogy. How about that? You keep it. I'll let you keep it.
God,
wow.
So annoying.
You're annoying. I can't even like a salad now.
Whatever. Anyway.
Anywho, yes.
He's just generic.
He's just there.
Like he does things well enough. Like they're okay, but there's really nothing memorable there.
No, and that's true.
But they're pushing him like he's the next big thing, and like I could definitely see like a year from now around April, like, oh, Damian Priest winds up on one of those lists. We'll see. I don't see it, and he's still facing John Morrison. It's like he was trying to milk whatever he could out of the crowd, and they really weren't there for a lot of it.
No, they had no part of it. They really didn't care. It's one of those things where
he's not there.
It's not interesting enough.
It feels forced.
Not. It does feel forced, because it was very much forced. From the moment he arrived on the roster, it felt forced. It wasn't like one of those things where we were saying with just literally moments ago with Ricochet, right? That Ricochet had a lot of potential for just being this like great hand and wrestling and everything else, right? If he did not speak, Ricochet would really be very successful. But Damian Priest, though, I don't think he's all that great. I don't think he has much charisma. So it's like, he's just there.
Yeah.
He's just there to be there. He's just there from what they think that he could be, and it's just not.
Well, it's just that's what Vince knows. That meanwhile, like the most profitable times of his company and his company's history were with guys that weren't enormous and immobile, like Damian Priest is. And the worst thing that they're doing is like they have Damian Priest doing flips and stuff like that, and he stinks at like all that stuff. But like the big guy, power moves, he's like okay at like. But again, I've never seen like a great Damian Priest match, and I don't think we'll see one on the main roster.
No, it didn't. If let's just put it this way: if Bad Bunny couldn't get the hype around it, then what's really going to work? And that's somebody who really he outshined him.
Look what they did to Damian Priest the night after Bad Bunny. They had him lose in a handicap match to Miz and Morrison.
I mean, listen, he outshined him. He outshined him. Like literally, Bad Bunny outshined him, but not even just like his presence. Literally, his wrestling was better.
Yeah. Well, he'll be facing Sheamus at SummerSlam for the United States title. So,
whatever. Moving on.
And here's another low point in the show: T-Bar versus Mustafa Ali in a storyline that to like nobody gives a fuck about. I don't even think the people that are in the storyline are
I don't think they're interested. I don't think they are.
And it's like I was watching this, and I'm looking at like Dominic Dijakovic and Mace. I can't remember his name. his other gimmick name, Dion. Hello. I
don't know. I don't know.
Whatever. Somebody will tell me in the chat. Like I was watching him cut a promo, and I'm like, this guy Mace is like playing what he thinks a professional wrestler is, but he's not a professional wrestler. Mm-mm. And then I was watching this, like, Mansoor was supposed to do this thing where he clears the ring of T-Bar and Mace and Dio Madden. Thanks, Randy. And Dio Madden is like charges him, and he's supposed to go over the top rope. And it was just like simple moves that are like number one things you learn in wrestling camp, like how to go over the top rope, take a couple bumps and stuff like that. He cannot do them. He can't cut a promo. He
Right.
looks terrible in the ring.
Right.
He's there solely because he's a big guy.
Right.
And he's atrocious in the ring. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, Dominik Dijakovic a few years ago was like going to be the next big thing. I mean, he's everything that, he doesn't have the personality, but neither does Damian Priest. But he does almost everything that Damian Priest can do, but better. Tall, muscular, ripped, great moveset, can do a lot of amazing things. And yet he's the one who's been saddled with, like, he was in the worst stable of all time, Retribution. He had that horrible mask, that they finally got rid of. His gimmick as T-Bar is like one of the worst things ever. And now all that's gone, but he still has the horrible gimmick, and he's saddled with Dio Madden, who, I'm sorry, I'm sure he works really hard, but he's not a professional wrestler.
Yeah.
And that's the best that they got for Dominik Dijakovic. And Damian Priest is facing Sheamus at SummerSlam, and Dominik Dijakovic is barely beating, like, Mustafa Ali.
Yeah.
Like, or they're losing to them.
Yeah.
It's like, wow. That's pretty
sad.
It's pretty rough. It's pretty rough. Can we say since 1985, Vince has been desperate to have an act that looks like LOD on his roster at all times? Maybe. Yeah, I guess we had what were those guys? Connor and
oh my God, Connor and
Connor Victor and Connor.
Victor, yeah.
The
Ascension.
Was that what they were? The Ascension?
I think so.
No, they were their last Road Warrior group. Now they have T-Bar and Mace as the Road Warrior group.
Yeah.
But the Road Warriors, like, beat people and were interesting. Yes, thank you, Ascension. I know. Yeah, and they're not. So poor Dominik Dijakovic. Reggie is a TikTok star. 33 million views on TikTok. But not even a fraction of, like, that 33 million watches Raw. So that's great.
You know what, though? He's living his best life, so good for him.
Yes. There you go. Let's see. Great promo, Bobby Lashley MVP.
Yes.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
I love this.
I mean, what's great about it is, okay. How do I put this nicely without, like, sounding like a complete, like, negative about it? I'm not no. I'm not exactly, like, looking forward to his match. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, just because, like, I'm not, listen, it's nothing against Goldberg, really. It's really not. It's and it has to do with more Goldberg. I like Bobby Lashley. I don't think I was really, I don't know. I just didn't see the hype because I wasn't really obviously watching at that point with Goldberg. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it's just not something I'm genuinely interested in. But this got me pretty excited about it just by their promo. Like, if I took it aside from my own feelings about what I feel about Goldberg, right? This got me excited about it for wanting to see the match. Like, this promo could make you want to see it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, even if you're, like, not gung-ho about it initially, like, this got you pretty like excited.
That's why I really liked it, because they kind of sold me on the Goldberg match.
But I'm just not looking forward to the match necessarily. But, like, this is like,
I can't say that I'm looking forward to it or not looking forward to it. Like, it's not, whatever it is not gonna be long. So
no, but that's
nothing
kind
to
of
really
like,
look forward to. It's gonna be over so fast that, it's like there's no reason to really anticipate it. You know exactly what you're gonna get, and it's not gonna be that long. So it's hard to, like, drum up excitement for that. But they did that tonight.
Mm-hmm.
They did that tonight,
which is good. You know what I mean? Like, which is good.
And I'm wondering, like, is Gage going to be involved? Like they did that.
Who
was
knows?
Great. like MVP, like, 15-year-old. Don't be bringing your 15-year-old around here. Like you ever think about that? We're fashionably violent men.
Yeah,
I love that.
I like that. I like that a lot.
And
it's good.
And then they were doing the classic. I mean, it was, why I liked it, because it was a classic heel promo.
It was,
and they worked.
And that's why it works.
Like, that's why, like, they try to eliminate faces and heels now, and, like, everybody is, like, has gray lines,
like tweeners and stuff. Yeah,
like a whole roster of tweeners. But, like, I've never heard of that.
No, but
they tried that and it didn't succeed.
Well, you know what? What action film that you watch, right? It's a clear protagonist, antagonist, hero, villain.
It's storytelling.
It's typical themes that work in movies, in shows, right?
Yep.
And you're supposed to be an entertainment company. Like stick to that basics. Well, those basics.
Yeah. But that's what you get when you have a bunch of,
But this was a classic heel.
D in creative writing 101.
This is a classic heel situation.
This was great.
It
was perfect. And whenever they go back to the basics, it always works.
And again,
always.
Who's involved? A manager.
Well, yeah, but no, but I'm saying that was their plan. Just play this like a classic rivalry.
That's what I'm saying.
It always works.
Absolutely. What I'm saying is like MVP is a huge hand in this.
Like how Alexa Bliss, how is that ever going to be good? How?
It's not.
It isn't. But this was awesome. I thought they did a really good job.
Really,
Lashley was good in his little role that he did. Bill, do not let your son watch SummerSlam. The destruction that I inflict on you, it'll be so bad that you won't want your son to share your last name. At SummerSlam, Goldberg is not next. Goldberg is done. Solid as hell. Rhea Ripley versus Nikki Ash, the Raw Women's Champion. This is not a championship contenders match because Rhea Ripley's already a contender, so now it's just a match just to have a match.
Yes, right.
But it was short, not too bad.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Kept it sweet. And I love the DQ ending made sense. Most of the time they use DQs just to get out of things.
Yeah, but this one, yeah.
Triple threat. Charlotte Flair had great heat in this.
She did.
And I just thought it was a really well done.
It was segment. It was well executed.
It wasn't promoted. It wasn't made a big deal about, but it was again another basic match made sense.
Yes, it's to the point.
Classic how you build a triple threat.
Yes, absolutely, right? Absolutely. Because Charlotte Flair clearly, right, what she's doing in that heel move, absolutely.
Right. There's a vignette with Elias walking with his guitar. He strums a chord, then he throws the guitar into the fire. And he says that WWE used to stand for Walk with Elias, but Elias is dead. So luckily there's been no Jackson Riker lately.
Yeah, really.
Thank God for that. And if that means we're getting an Elias repackaging and no Jackson Riker on television, I'm all for that.
Yes.
That's good.
Something to look forward to.
And finally, we already talked about the main event. So I'm going to ask everybody in the chat room, what did you think of tonight's Raw? What did you think of tonight's Raw? And I'll ask you as well, Victoria. What did you think?
I actually liked it. I mean, again, there's always going to be some things that are kind of iffy, right? Where you're like, what the hell's happening? But RK Bro, solid. Drew McIntyre, solid. MVP and Bobby Lashley's promo, solid stuff right there. With the women, with Rhea Ripley, Nikki Ash, and Charlotte Flair, good stuff. I have more ups. I have more thumbs up than I do down. So that's what I'm going to base off of. What about you? Oh, actually, you already said it basically at the beginning of the show. You're like,
I like the show.
Yeah.
It was like the low points were low. I'm not a big fan of Damian Priest. I hated the T-Bar May stuff. That was like one segment of nothingness, whatever. The Alexa Bliss stuff is always a hole in the show.
Of course.
But for the most part, like the Baron Corbin thing, I was laughing. I was actually laughing out loud.
Yes.
Their comedy worked.
Oh yeah. And I forgot to mention that too. Yes. It's another thumbs up.
The RK Bro stuff carried the show. It started the show off really, really well. It ended the show really, really well. They had the crowd in the palm of their hand.
They did.
They were great.
They did.
Another basic, back to basic storyline. Works.
Every time.
Clear heel, clear face.
Just, it's simple. Simple storytelling. Easy. Always works. It's easy. Always works.
But they're still busy trying to swerve everybody. But I give it a thumbs up. King of Huecamundo, thumbs down. The Alexa storyline needs to end. Brett Farmer, same old crap. This was the episode that gives false hope. You're probably not wrong there. I think we'll have 2 more good episodes of Raw this year, and it'll be next week and the week after, and then it's the fall. And it's Well, maybe with the not with the draft either. Mr. V, if Mike and Victoria are happy, then I will give it 2 thumbs up. Thumbs, I completely destroyed the chat room up. Daniel Shell.
You did, Daniel. You really did.
Billy Hefner did not see he was at Shine Down. Probably better off. Graham Costigan Cripps, thumbs sideways. All right. Yeah. I just have to give it a thumbs up. I was really surprised, like when I came in here tonight and the chat room was like, "Oh, this was a terrible show."
Because we had a vacation from it. That's why.
Right. After hearing you guys talk and screaming about it, I'll give it a thumbs up. Quentin Walters. All right. Very good. All right, everybody. Well, I got to go rest my vocal cords now. But we came back swinging.
We always do.
2 weeks.
You ready for the
off.
Couch tonight? I got it nice and warm for you.
It's a great couch. It's a good couch, man. It's a good couch.
I'll have you sleep on that one because that's the shorter one. So
I've slept on it before. It feels good. It's a good couch. It's a good couch. But we came back swinging. We had a lot of opinions about wrestling tonight.
Oh, we always do, like I said.
But anyway, I'm Mike Tedesco, and we'll be back next week for some more fun.
More screaming.
The go home show to SummerSlam, and then it's on the SummerSlam. Wow, Saturday SummerSlam.
Man,
it should be fun.
Interesting. I'm Victoria Tedesco, by the way.
She is. All right, everybody. Have
a good one.
Yes, indeed, and we'll see you later.
Bye. I screwed
that up.
Okay.
I had to press end broadcast.
Oh, okay.
Let's say goodbye.